Hold on. Hi. This is Marilyn Dollmaker. I'm finishing up a handbag that I've been working on, and this is it. Just need to put the straps on it, and it'll be ready. But I wanted to take the time to really sit back and just do some talking if I can. I had been in prayer and been praying about some things, and I just wanted to be able to just share with y'all how I feel because it's just how I feel. And I'm going to use this time to just share. Um, I guess maybe because I'm different. But here I am. I know we all have a story. You, me, everybody. We all have a story to tell. I see my earrings are acting up here. But we all have a story to tell. And many of us, we lived our lives, we've done what we needed to do. But I have several things that I want to discuss with y'all. Let me take my earring out because I don't like when it's not right, y'all. Don't like it when it's not right. So I'm going to put this one on this side. I do make my own earrings too, as many of you know. I'm in my studio uh, just making my product, and it's still messed up, huh? Yeah, it's still messed up. But hey, oh well. But anyway, listen, I wrote some things down that I wanted to talk about today while I'm in my sewing room. Uh, but anyway, hey, I know there's a lot of people out there that probably have a lot that they want to say too, but they don't use Facebook or YouTube. Well, I do. And I feel I like to say what I need to say. We all have opinions, some more opinionated than others, but I just say how I feel. Let me just say this if I can. I'm going to go up my list instead of down. One of the things that really seems to trouble me, I've been in prayer today, I'm just so tired of seeing so many kids coming up missing. Uh, Parents reporting them missing, like those two girls, that they found their bodies in the Hudson River. These are young women, babies disappearing, and we can't find these kids. Kids being abused, kids being killed by parents for no reason at all. That troubles me, y'all. And I've been praying that the stuff that's done to these kids, whether it's sexually or mentally or physically abusing these kids, it's wrong. And I pray so much that God, I know that the angels are always there watching. And I know in this world we don't get away with anything. But it troubles me. And I know the Bible says we're always to pray and not faint. But I pray constantly, that God intervenes. And I do try to help when I can. That troubles me. I think we as people have gotten away from family, what family is really all about. I mean, there was a time when we would get together as families, holidays, wouldn't be a whole lot of mess that I see going on with families today. Getting together for Thanksgivings and Christmas. Now it's not like it used to be. Back then, we were civil. We treated everybody good. Even if you are, we all have that one person in the family that's probably, a pain in the butt. But we still loved on them. We treated them. We made them feel welcome. Now families are different. You got somebody come in there, you treat them bad, you ignore one another, you don't really treat family like family should be. You have all these emotions and things that you think going on or happen in your lives, and you're trying to deal with it, and that bothers me because I think we need to get back to how things used to be when families were families. You got an issue with your brother or sister or cousins or whoever. You let that mess go. We're living in a time now. We truly are living in perilous times now. And it's time to let that mess go. You know, a lot of jealousy going on. You know, when I hear somebody say, "Well, you know, I'm not jealous of that person or that person that don't affect me," the same ones that you hear saying all that mess, they're the ones that got the problem and the issue with that person. And I'm saying all that because I'm seeing a lot of it, and even on Facebook. You can't take a lot of the stuff that go on Facebook serious. I'm on Facebook because majority of the people there are my family, friends that I grew up with, whether it's in Brooklyn, whether it's in Connecticut, whether it's in the Bronx, whether it's family that spread it all out from California to South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas. I mean, this is what I do. But one thing about me, if I'm going to come on here, I'm going to say how I feel. And that's not putting anybody down. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm just saying these are the things that have been bothering me. And because of that, I have been in prayer about them. We as families need to come back together. Holidays are coming. Don't let it be just holidays. You get together, and then when you get together, you're on your cell phones. And you got your cell phone in your hand, and you just calling and texting and not even fellowshipping with the family. We got to get away from that. We got to appreciate our grandparents, those that are up in age. We got to be there for them. We can't just forget about them. Those of us, some of us, we so quick to put our parents in nursing homes and put them up in there and forget them. Didn't used to be like that. I remember the time when I was growing up, grandmama was right there. Grandmama was right in the house. And pretty much she was the monarch of her family. What she said went. A lot of times, when things were going on, it was grandma that settled the situation. But now you got a lot of people they put in their family. I could see if the parents are really, really sick, like maybe Alzheimer's or something to that effect. But I'm saying I'm seeing kids put their parents in nursing homes, and there's nothing wrong with them because they don't want the responsibility. They don't want to deal with them, and that hurts. But this is what I see today in this day and time, and I was praying about that. Many of them they stick their parents in a nursing home so quick, but they want their money. They want to get their little paycheck though. A lot of times, sometimes I feel like a lot of these kids here, and I could be wrong, they waiting on their parents to die so they can see what the parents left them. I'm trying to understand this generation. I'm not saying I'm perfect. All I'm saying is we need to get back to the morals that we once had. That's all. Where parents were in control of what's going on with their kids instead of their kids running amok and running things. And I have the parents scared. Of course, folks like me that's from the old school. It ain't like that. And then you even got some that don't even that marry these daughters and don't even respect the parents, don't even respect the wife's mother or father. People like that. I wonder about them too. But I'm like this. God got it all. I have learned not to fight the battle because there's a lot that many of us can say, but sometimes it's best to leave it in God's hand because God know how to deal with folks better than a lot of us do. But this is just some of the stuff that I was just sharing with you while I was in prayer, and I wanted to share that. I'm getting tired of seeing kids that are abused and turning up dead. It's not the child's fault. We should be having these kids if you're not going to be do the right thing and provide for these children. It's just horrible. It's horrible, y'all. Um, the things that's going on in the world today, you got people shooting and carrying on. You can't even go into Kroger's or any place else without somebody shooting up. I'm gonna say this: since uh, Trump has come into office, let's be real now. This man has caused more division, created more division in this country, among the people, among the cultures. It's heartbreaking, heartbreaking. And, it's got to stop. I hear folks talk about let's pray. Yes, we're praying. No, we're not judging the man. But the Bible does say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. A lot of times, what's in these folks' heart is going to come out. And then here you go, I'm sorry, I apologize. Then you want to get up and try to change it. But you done already said it. That tells me it was already in your heart from the beginning, from the get-go. So what you're actually doing when you do that, to me, you show a person, you're showing that person your true colors. And we've got to get together as people. Someone sent me a video, or well, a picture of a white egg and a brown egg. And when you crack that egg open and you open it up and put it in the frying pan, it's pretty much the same. And that's just like us. When you get a knife and you cut us, the blood is still going to run red. But I think it has a lot to do with the environment, with who you are, where you come from, how your parents raised you. And it's sad, it's sad. You know, unless a person has actually walked in your shoes, you can't really identify with that person. And I'm speaking from experience. You got to have love in your heart for people, real love, not this fake, phony stuff, real love. Because I see these folks running around here with all these houses and things. But let me tell y'all something. There's nothing wrong with having a nice house. Now I'm going to change the subject because I'm going to talk a little bit about our preachers. And you getting this from a woman of God. Okay, I'm just telling it just like it is. When I was coming up, we had people in the church that loved God. We had mothers in the church that when them sisters were married, they would make sure that teach them sisters how to be good wives to their husband. It wasn't all this stuff, a lot of gossiping and all this stuff I see going on in the church today. When you go to the altar and you was talking about you had an experience with God, they'll say, you're almost there now, you're almost there. All right, just a little bit more. Oh, Jesus, just a little bit more. Back in the day, and I know some of y'all say, well, this ain't old. But I'm going to tell you something. Those mothers back then, when you were saved, even the young ones when I was coming up, you were really saved. It wasn't no straddling the fence. It wasn't the way of a transgressor is hard. It wasn't no having one foot in the world and one foot in God. Today, I see nothing but entertainment in our churches today. They don't want the real. They want to be in charge and live in large. Let's be real. I get upset with our preachers because when I was coming up, we had one pastor and 9 assistant pastors. And all them assistant pastors had jobs. Okay. They were there for the people. They helped the people, when they needed something. That church stood for something. When the people came in, they had needs. They never bothered the pastor because those 9 assistant pastors made sure that that man of God had that time set aside to worship God, to pray, to intervene, to seek God for the service. I was very I could name the pastor's name, but I will not. But I was very good friends, with this pastor's daughter. And their house was right next to the church. And I remember one time going over, to the pastor's house. And, we were making a lot of noise. And his wife would say, y'all keep it down now because Brother so-and-so, he's uh, praying, getting ready for the service for tonight. And I never forget, it was me and his daughter. We kind of peeped in because, he had the door cracked, and we kind of peeped in there. And what I saw, I was, I guess, 16 maybe. He was proselyte, just laid, stretched flat on the floor in that room with his Bible and other stuff just laying out there. And we could hear him saying, "Oh God, what will you have me say to the people tonight? Oh God, what do you want me to do in the service tonight? Oh God, speak to my heart and share with me what you want me to do." He would be in the word, just proselyte on the floor, on that floor, worshiping God, praying for the service, praying for the people in the church. This is what I saw. And I also saw the assistant pastors, the money that they would take in, they would take care of the needs of the church. The people that came in there, they had money set aside to help the people. I've never known them to turn away anybody that had a need, whether it was the rent need to be paid, a light bill, whatever it is that the people needed. Those assistant pastors were there. They were there, went to the hospital, saw the people, ministered to the people. The pastor didn't have all that on him because he was seeking God for the people. And you know what I loved about that job? What I loved is when this man stepped foot on the pulpit and opened his mouth, the anointing was there. The power of God flowed. And when he would minister the word, the power of God would come in and meet the needs of the people. I love the fact that if there were so many needs, and let's say they didn't have a lot of money, they would take an offering right then and there for the people in the church. The people in the church didn't go without their needs being met. That, to me, is what serving God was all about. Now I see differently. I see what people are doing. Now I see men of God. A lot of them are taking money, giving themselves big salaries, and then their wives are the assistant pastor. And let's be real, it is a business like anything else. But I'm seeing the change. How people get up. You have the singers get up now and they sing in the choir, some of them, or in whatever your group thing that you have, living any old kind of way. I had a young man talk to me the other day that he said, I don't understand. He goes to this church and he said, you know, what he see now is just so different. They got anything and everything going on in the churches today. And they expect us as people to accept it. And I said to him, we are not God. God sees the hearts. He weighs the hearts of men and women. He knows. And his word he will not stray from. Because one thing the Bible does say, and many of y'all know I'm telling the truth, judgment must begin at the house of God. And he said, if you know the angels didn't escape, what makes you think that we're going to escape it? We're not. So the thing that I can only say, and this is what bothers me, is that a lot of stuff that's going on in your churches today, God is going to hold the pastors accountable if they're not doing the right thing. You cannot sit up there and have a mansion and 5 or 6 airplanes and 7 or 8 Bentleys and God only knows what. And your people in your congregation are struggling. And then you turn around and say it's their fault. That's wrong. If your people in your church need help, you are there to help them. Yes, you can still give them the word. And yes, we are to know God in a personal way and have a real relationship with God. And I'm so sick of people talking about it starts from the head, trickle down from the head down. Let me tell you something. God's going to hold a lot of them accountable. I don't have a problem with a man of God being blessed, nor do I have a problem with him having a nice house. But if you're going to have all this stuff, make sure your people in your congregation are not struggling. If you have somebody in your congregation that's needing a car to get back and forth to work, and they're riding a bicycle, and you have it in your power to be a blessing to that person, God is going to hold you accountable. Because if you can help that, and that's not saying, oh, people just want their hand out. No, I have seen enough where a young lady, and I've seen this happen myself, where a young lady needed help and was about to commit suicide because nobody would help her. She went to churches, and this one particular church, which I will leave nameless, said to her, unless you are a member in my church, we cannot help you. She went on, and I had my daughter call me, and she says, Ma, such and such really need help. And she's threatening to jump in the river back there where she lived because she needed help. And if she couldn't go to the church, who could she go to? That's a soul. I wound up calling a lot of churches in the Nashville area. And out of all the churches that I think somebody getting ready to come here. Hold on. Ah, yeah. Thank you, baby. You're welcome. Hi, I was doing a video, but thank you. Sorry, I didn't. No, you're okay. I left the gate open for you. Thank you. All right, come on, Des. Come on. Thank you so much. Come on, Des. All right. All right, y'all. I'm going to finish. I had to pick up my package. I was waiting on something that I needed to do for my dolls. I had to get my stuff. But I wanted to just finish saying, uh, when you and I said to the pastors, the churches that I was calling, when you have a need and you're calling around for help and nobody's wanting to help you, you feel hopeless. Excuse me, you feel like you're ready to just end it all. And that's what she was in that position. And I was able to contact one church that said to me, she said, baby, she was like me. She said, baby, we don't have a lot, but whatever she needs, you tell her to call us and we'll help her. You shouldn't have to be a member of a church in order to get help. That's a soul. He that wins souls must be wise. Who's to say that if she, as this church reached out to help her, she maybe would become a member because she would see Christ in the life of the people. This is what I'm saying. What's missing today, y'all, is that there is no accountability in a lot of the churches. Now, excuse me, don't get me wrong. There are churches where the man of God is real and where God is really moving by his spirit. I'm talking about those where you have a lot of mess going on in these churches. And if the man of God is who he say he is, a lot of that mess would be cut at the root. What do I mean by that? If that man is praying and seeking God like he's supposed to be praying and seeking God, God is a revealer of hearts. He gonna let you know what's going on. And a lot of that mess would not be going on. So yes, church has changed to me. People are not doing what they're supposed to do because the preachers are there to bless the people, encourage the people, be there for the people when they need help. Assistant pastors, you ain't got no business having your wife assistant pastor. I'm sorry. Y'all may get mad at me, but I don't think that's right. Because that means when I see that, it lets me know that everybody, they the one in control of all the money and everything, and nobody knows what's going on. The church I went to, uh, everybody knew where the money was going. Every year they gave you a yearly report. Every year you got a thing of seeing how much tithes and offerings you paid so that you can get some of that money back. when you file your taxes. I don't see too much of that going on anymore. That bothers me. We got to be real. I'm seeing more and more and more preachers commit adultery, doing stuff they don't have no business doing. You don't need to be. I'm seeing all these folks with titles that shouldn't have titles. Because one thing about it, if God called you, you're gonna know. I could sit up here and brag about me, but I don't. Your life should be the example to the people. But I see a lot of people using their ministry status to become celebrities. Everybody's not going to be a celebrity and everybody's not going to be a preacher. Many are called and few are chosen. Those that are called, you know. And those that are not just up there, God is going to deal with them. So you could take what I said however you want. We all have opinions. I'm entitled to mine. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm going to continue to pray. These are just things that I've been sharing with God in my heart. One thing about me, I keep it real. I talk to God. I keep it real. I say to God how I really feel and what's in my heart. You see, y'all, it's really about a real relationship with God. No, I'm not judging anybody, nor am I condemning anybody. I'm just sharing my situation of how I feel and what I've been dealing with God and talking to God about for me. Because I came from the old school. And what I'm seeing today is not good. Because let's be real, y'all. At the end of the day, when someone is on their deathbed and they look around and they may have the house, which is doing you no good. All them cars that you got sitting up in your garage doing you and no good. Your planes are no good. Your family may be fighting and everything, no good. The thing you need to ask yourself while you on your way out to eternity, into eternity or transitioning, what is the most important thing? What does it come down to, y'all? It comes down to LOVE, love. What have you done to impact a life, to make a difference in the life of somebody else? What have you done? That's what it comes down to. I was just watching a video, of a model. I forget the lady's name. She's Spanish. I mean, she was a runway model, did all this stuff, and then she wound up with stomach cancer. Some of y'all might know her. She wound up with stomach cancer. And let me tell you something. She went through, like she said, she had the house. She even had the boyfriend. She had the car. She had the money. She was sitting there dying and she had all that stuff. And none of it could help her, nor could it satisfy her. Because what happened? She wound up leaving it for her family to fight over it. Because my understanding is after she passed, her family just went crazy getting her stuff. So all I'm saying to y'all today, things that matter, when you see somebody that you know need help, and you don't have a lot or not, help them. Let me tell you, I got to share this and then I'm going to stop. But I know sometimes you think people get over on you. I was over in Walmart and I saw this family and I knew they were foreigners. I didn't have a lot of money. Didn't have a lot of money at all. But in my spirit, I felt led to give them $25. Lady had kids. I went over, I talked to them, and the lady said, we have a place to live. We have an apartment, but my husband was laid off. She said, I need Pampers for my kids. We don't have that much food in the house. Can you help us? And I said, I don't have much, but I'll give you what I have. I gave him $25. And that's not looking for nothing in return. That's just making a difference. I'm seeing the love of many in this country has waxed cold. We've got to share the love. We got to be examples, written, living epistles of who we say we are. If we're going to care about people, let's care about people for real. So I'm sharing this with y'all because these are the things today that I've been praying about. Many of you on Facebook have shared and asked me to stand in the gap. I did today. I prayed. I prayed. But in the process of all of us doing the praying, we got to have a real relationship with God. We got to really live what we say. Nobody's judging. Look, I miss it just like everybody else. But the difference is I try to be real. I don't try to be no phony. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I have arrived and I've gotten it and look at me. No. Every day, precept upon precept, line upon line. I'm learning. I haven't arrived yet, but I'm real. God weighs your motives behind everything that you do. You remember that. I see too much out here. Kids went trick-or-treating, somebody putting needles in candy. We've got to pray for our children, hedge of protection, even before they walk out that door. We got to learn to bring our families back. One of the hardest things sometimes can be to forgive those that have hurt you, especially when you got some of them that think that they haven't done anything. The most important thing we can do is give it to God. Forgive and keep it going. Keep moving. Nobody said you had to go ahead and just, um, deal with them. But if you see them, love them for real. Just love them for real and go on and enjoy your life. But be there for them. When it used to be a time, no matter what the siblings went through or family went through, man, if there was a need, families would get together and we would be there. We would meet that need, man. We would meet the need. But no, many of us, we so busy trying to impress and trying to see what we doing this over here and we doing this over here and I got my this. Nobody cares. Look, y'all, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just go on with your life and do what you know that God has given you to do. I love doing what I'm doing, whether it's handbags, making my dolls that you see out here. It's about people at the end of the day. You know, many of us, our days are numbered. It's only what you do for Christ will last. Whether you believe God or don't believe in God, we all will have a rude awakening because we all, as my man said in Ecclesiastes, we all gonna go sooner or later. To everything there is a season, a time to learn, a time to live, a time to die. We have got to teach our children better. We've got generations coming up. We've got parents that don't know how to be parents, some, and our kids are running amok. What are we teaching? Kids don't even read books anymore. I don't even see them reading books anymore. I don't see parents teaching them. With us, it was different. Our parents told us, get a good education, get a good job, work for the government, work for the state. You got a lot of people running around here, got all these college degrees, and many of us can't even get a job. I think the thing we need to be teaching our children is how to become entrepreneurs at a young age. Teach them now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Teach them to be bosses and own their own companies. That's what it should be about. Teaching them to love one another. teaching them about the different cultures that we have and how this is a melting pot. Because let me tell you something. I look at people leaving here, honey, they leaving here in droves. They transitioning. We better love one another. We need to embrace one another. If you haven't talked to your mother or your father or your sister or your brother, it's time to come together. You need to put all the mess that happened in the past, because 9 times out of 10, people going to see it their way anyway and not really deal with the reality of what really happened. So the best thing to do is learn to love one another. Because when we all stand before God, he's going to want to know, what did you do with the life and the gift that he's given you? And you know what's so funny about the whole thing, y'all? We're not going to be able to complain. You know why? Because there is a life review. Because by the time you have the life review, from the time that you're born to the time that you transition, you know, that little dot from whatever you was born to the dash to the time you transition, that's going to tell the whole story. That's going to tell the history of who you are and what you've done. You'll see it all, from the feelings to the everything. So why not regroup, re-examine our lives? And that goes for me too. And realize that if you have a place to live, whether it's just an apartment or a small house, that is a place for you to have your needs. Because it's really about helping one another, being there for one another. Why does it always have to take a tragedy before we realize we got to be there for one another? We're living in perilous times. It's time to come together and be real. And these, like I said, these are some of the things that I felt like I needed to share, because I was praying. I was in prayer, and I was hurting, man. I was hurting. I was hurting. I mean, really hurting. Let's just be who we are. We shouldn't have to try to impress anybody. Love you. Love your assignment that God has given you. If he's given you somebody that's special to you, you love that person. You don't have to, look, there's a lot more mess going on in the world that I'd rather not even discuss. But all I'm saying is we need to really be there for our kids and love our kids for real. Love your family. The holidays, get together. Use it as a time for forgiveness. Use it as a time to be there and love one another for real. Not tear one another down. I'm so sick of that. People living in the past, can't deal with the now, mental illness. You don't have time for that. But I think we need to look at the changes that can be made. Churches need to get back to doing what God really called them about, and that's souls, winning souls, loving souls on the for real side. You don't have to preach nobody into hell or tell them they're going. Most folks know they're going to hell. You got to love them. You ain't got to love the sin, but you love them. And I'm tired of folks that think they have arrived and go knock the pearly gates down. Nobody has a corner market on God. And I'm so sick of it. Let's just be real and get back to how it used to be, where when you go to church, you go to the altar while you're waiting for the service to start. I don't see that anymore. Instead of sitting there in the pew talking and running your mouth, you there for service. You should be ready before you even get to the service. You should be already on your knees, being prayerful, spending that time with God. And then when you go to church, you go to that altar, just thanking God for what he's about to do in the service. And as the man of God, if he's a real man of God, you pray that God will be with him and bless him. And yes, I have nothing against paying your tithes and offerings. You pay your tithes and offerings. However, make sure you putting it in good ground, because there are some places that's not good ground. And I don't want to hear this about, well, I'm going to pay my tithes and what he do with it, that's between him and God. No, baby. If he's not doing right and he's not living right and you paying your tithes, that ain't going to be blessed. I don't care what you say. Oh, what? But I meant what? Look, if you seeking God, God gonna put in it. What's in the dark gonna always come to the light, and it's coming now. As you look around, I'm seeing it now. So I just wanted to share all that. I'm gonna get back to finishing up my doll bag here, and it's gonna be real pretty, y'all. I mean, I just put the little thing in. It's gonna have a beautiful lining. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all, how I felt and what was going on with me. Not tearing anybody down, not putting on no preachers. I'm just sharing how things used to be, how people loved and cared about one another, how when somebody moved into your neighborhood, everybody would bring over pies and cakes and food. Don't see that anymore. I see division within families, within communities, within neighborhoods. We got to change that. We've got to change it. You want to help our kids. You got kids in the neighborhood. I still see so much, and I'm gonna quit then, but I still see so much bullying going on. We got to stop it. Even if it means going into the school speaking, which I'm trying to do now in the area that I live in. It's got to change, y'all. We got to love one another. I don't care what color you are. We got to come together as a people because I see this country, the way this country is going right now, it's not working. Something's very wrong when you have people working their butts off, some people working 2 and 3 jobs, and still the wages are stagnant. And for those of you that's trusting in the stock market and your 401ks, trust in God, honey, because there's something about to come down. You got a lot of companies that's getting ready to file bankruptcy. You got a lot of banks that were about to fail, and these I guess what you call them payday loan things. Y'all be careful. Be careful. All I'm gonna say is I love and appreciate y'all. I thank you for allowing me to vent and share what's in my heart and share the things. This what I'm sharing with you is the stuff that I have talked to God about today. And I just felt like, excuse me, I wanted to just share that with y'all because I know I'm not the only one that feel this way. I know I'm not. We got to pray for our children, pray for our country, pray for each other. In churches, come together, pray for one another, and meet the needs. Meet the needs of each other. Preachers, that go for you too. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, there are some preachers that love God, love their people, and doing the right thing. But there's also a lot that's not. And God didn't have you to be a preacher to get rich. So I'm just saying that. Let's get back to praying, having prayer meetings, having a noonday prayer, having that time with God, laying there and just listening and letting God speak to your hearts. And that goes for me too. Who am I? I'm just a child of God. But I don't play with God. I'm real. One of the mothers told me years ago, baby, whatever you do, don't play with God. Always be real. And I've always been real. I told God how it really is with me. I talk to him. He wants that relationship with us. It's not one-sided. If after you pray and you talk to the Lord and you sit there and even if you just read the word and just kind of sit there, meditate, he's going to speak back to your heart. He's going to order your steps and direct your path. It's not about the monetary gain all the time. If you're around people that don't mean you any good, you give it to God. But be led by the Spirit. God's not gonna let you be around somebody that He knows don't have your best interest at heart. Be around somebody that you know they're backstabbers, that smile in your face, and all the time they want to take your place. He's not gonna let you be around a person or a husband that you have and you know he out there cheating and she cheating and they're not real. God is a revealer of hearts. He knows how to stop everything in his track. They may go around thinking that, hey man, they getting over, but it don't work that way. You take whatever it is that you going through in prayer and you read the Bible or you spend that time and just wait on God. Listen, thank him, worship him. That me time with you and God. It's about personal relationship. God is real. He will speak to your heart. I'm telling you something I know. And I'm not the only one. No, God speaks to your heart. Too many crazies out here nowadays. All I say to y'all is what I say to me. Trust God, no matter what you're going through. Be led by the Spirit of God, whether it come from dealing with, I don't care who it is, from the man of God to preachers to whoever. Be led by the Spirit of God. Try the spirits by the spirits, like the word says. So anyway, I want to thank y'all for allowing me to vent. I'm going to get back to doing my sewing. I was sitting here making my thing to go with my the thing for my my handbag. But listen, y'all, Mama B just try to be real. I'm not no better than anybody else. But I will say this. Love you. Don't let nobody make you feel bad for being who you are. Don't let nobody take away your dream. People will try to make you feel bad and they'll try to make you feel like you're nothing because they feel like they're nothing. Don't let it happen. You stand tall, stand strong, and love you. Your gift, your assignment, whatever it is that you are good at, that God has given you to do, honey, you work it. Let it shine. I'm so sick of folks tearing other people down because things are not going good for them. And then here they come trying to tear you down. Don't let that happen. You trust God. Love y'all. Peace. Until next time, stay prayerful. And I'm just sharing my heart. I ain't trying to do nothing else, just share my heart. God bless y'all. You know, finish my bag. Love y'all. Peace.